Welcome in, race fans, to another edition of In the Dirt. I'm your host, Webb Dillard, and I'm going to make y'all jealous for a minute because I am talking to you live from Gulf Shores, Alabama. And it is a beautiful evening here on the coast, on the Gulf of Mexico. My wife made me circle a week on the calendar, which I would not be at any races, and I accidentally circled Dream Week, like a moron. So without further ado,
what's going on, Webb, down by the beach?
Oh, this just proves the dedication that I have for the four listeners we have. Sitting down here, huh?
I think we got more than four.
Okay, we got five because my grandmother probably listens. How are you, Mr.
Man,
Gray?
I'm chilling down here in the dungeon. Just got out of the garage for a minute. You know, working hard on nothing.
Well, we had two great races with the Neesmith Series over the weekend. We were at Boyd's Speedway there in Ringgold, Georgia. Interesting thing about that track that the folks outside of my area don't know is that when you exit the Speedway, you actually exit the state of Georgia. The pits are in Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew that it was right there on the line, but that's another one of them places. I got some family that raced down there.
Yep.
But that's an interesting track fact.
That's an interesting track fact. And also, here's another interesting track fact. Don't go to Boyd's with a touring series and expect for your touring guys to win because first and second went the hometown boys. They mopped the floor with us.
Mopped the floor.
Man, they put on a show. A guy named Jeff Smith drives for Randall Hill Bunch. They're out of Dalton, Georgia area. He put on a clinic. And third place went to David Earl Gentry, who's the current points leader for the Neesmith Series. So, but then we go up to the next night. We go to 411 Speedway in Seymour, Tennessee, and guess what happens?
Unknown.
Chris Martin, local guy up there, takes home the $4,000 check at the J.T. Kerr Memorial Race. Ronnie Johnson, Southeast legend, finishes second. Pretty good race. Leader takes off in the 66 car, and then forgive me, Mike Vaughn, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's waxing everybody. First, second, third, and fourth all get spun out on the front stretch. And here's how awesome Ronnie Johnson is, which by the way is going to be a guest here in a little bit. Here's how awesome Ronnie Johnson is. Now you know, and I know, and most fans know that if you stop on the speedway, you have the you could get charged with the yellow, right?
Yeah, you go to the tail, and in my opinion, yeah, that you stop on the racetrack, you go to the tail.
Check this out.
Now here, but see, there's one of those other factors though. You know, there has to be stipulations. You know, like if you're leading the race, 6 cars spin out in the corner and you stop to not hit them. True
that.
Yeah, you know.
But
so.
I got footage of, I don't know if Johnson was doing this, but it appeared to me, he got turned all the way around. So he's facing the wrong way on the front stretch, right? Mm-hmm. And he keeps the car moving backwards through traffic so he don't get charged with the yellow, and then, keeps moving so his car can't be confused with causing the yellow. It was awesome. You go to Dirt on Dirt and see it.
That's something I'm going to go and have to see.
It's pretty smart of him, I think.
Keeps it going in reverse.
That's right. And it was. I got a real tight shot of him. He's got a real cool orange helmet. So I tried to, and he was driving one of our touring guys' backup car, Matt Turner, a number 10 car. Anyway, it was a good weekend racing. This little rest here at the beach is highly needed by Mr. Webster.
It was kind of a laid back weekend up this way. I mean, we had rain on Friday, so most of the places were rained out, so no racing on Friday night. And then the Ralph Latham at Florence Speedway, which the real deal takes that one home in dominating fashion, I hear. I did not see, but I hear. There's a little bit of, I would say, somewhat controversy surrounding that, but to be told. It's Florence Speedway.
So is Don? Is he going to be a favorite heading into the Dream?
Well, let's see. Didn't he win the World 100 last year?
He won a bunch of crap last year, but yeah. Okay.
He's on a tear. He's definitely going to be one of the guys, to look at. Track prep is to be seen yet. A lot of people are real impressed with Mr. Slack, the new general manager at Eldora. I haven't seen a race up there yet this year, but I will very soon. I think actually my first trip's going to be this Wednesday night, and then we'll be up there for the weekend. So, it doesn't really matter for Donnie O. If it's tacky and heavy, he's going to be fast. If it's slick as ice, he's going to be fast. So I'd say going into this weekend, he's going to be the man that everybody's looking to beat.
That's right. Well, plus the usual suspects, I'm sure, Bloomquist, GME.
A lot of guys are going to get mad, but I'm not really. I don't know if I would put my money on Bloomer. Obviously Owens is going to be tough, but what about Eddie Carrier Jr.? You can't rule him out, and obviously Darrell Lanigan's always fast up there.
There's probably about 10 guys that can be. Now, I'm gonna touch on a subject. I'm just gonna touch on it. It doesn't look like the Moon Man's gonna call in, so we're gonna shift gears here for a few minutes until we get to Mr. Ronnie Johnson. We're gonna talk to Ronnie Johnson here about 20 after the hour. But have you raced any sort of series or with an organization that has rules, Gray?
As far as I know, they all have rules. It's been my experience of how well they follow those rules is the issue.
And that's fine.
Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement. Now, if you decide that you're going to go run, say, with name me a series up north that's kind of regional.
Let's say ADRA. That was one that was out at Muller's recently. So they're a regional touring series, I would call it.
All right. So if you race with ADRA and they tell you that you have to have a pink polka dot 1 inch from 1 o'clock on the steering wheel, and it don't have to all be there at the end of the race, but there better be some pink dot at the end of the race. But if that was the rule, wouldn't you have to do that if that's what you wanted to if that's where you wanted to race that night?
I would think that you would have to do that, and then the other part of that would be making sure that it stayed on there, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what the rules and such are. It's just that you have to accept them and then follow them.
Mhm.
Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, that's why they make rules, is they expect you to abide by them and give everybody an even shake, right?
Yeah, and even so, okay, let's say that 24 guys pulled up to post-race inspection, and 23 of the 24 guys had the purple dot 1 inch from 1 o'clock on the steering wheel, and one guy didn't. What would you expect to happen to the guy that didn't?
Well, I know we're only talking about a polka dot, but
yeah,
if that was a stipulating factor in me being able to compete, I would say if your polka dot is missing, you're DQ'd.
Yeah, so it don't matter if it's a polka dot, if it's tire, if it's a wing nut on top of the roof, a quarter of an inch in and 5 inches down.
It's kind of one of them. It's kind of one of them deals where if the tire is supposed to durometer 40 or above at the end of the race and it durometers 38, you're DQ'd.
I don't know. I'm talking polka dots. You're talking tires, tomatoes.
Yeah, well, tires is the controversial subject.
So what I'm just getting at is, like, if you agree to race under whatever set of rules they are prior to the race, then it should be no surprise. There should be no surprise to anybody if you're held to those said rules after the race. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. Otherwise, there's no sense in having the rules.
Yeah, so anyway, if anybody would like to call in to talk about that, if they have a polka dot story, they can call 646-200-0558. I mean, me and Mr. Gray would talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to move on to what kind of a car are you moving on to? I've read some places where you're building your own.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. I got rid of all that stuff. I ain't going to call it whatever. I'm just going to say I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I've got everything here to build a car. I've built a few in the past couple of years, and I've been making some adjustments and talking to some of my NASCAR engineer guys and friends that I know and seeing what they think, and got a couple of my buddies together, and we have got a final design on the car, and I've been making fixtures and stuff today. Got my little rack set up in the garage and leveled out and got my plates laid out. And check this out. I don't know if anybody knows about open source media, but I found some really, really cool stuff that you can build. And I'm gonna build me my own car, dude. I'm gonna take what I learned and I'm gonna build my own car.
Well, lots of people build their own cars these days and make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, heck, if I can go buy one that looks like, somebody else, a 13-year-old put it together, I might as well find me a couple 13 or 14-year-old welding, technical kids going to technical school. Say, hey, let's build a race car. Get me some free labor.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and go to break, and you make that phone call for me, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Dirt Track Hall of Famer legend Ronnie Johnson. Welcome back in, race fans, to another segment here on In the Dirt. I'd like to welcome to the program Mr. Ronnie Johnson. Mr. Johnson, you with us?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show tonight, Webb.
Anytime, brother. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You're my favorite driver, so there it is. It's said. It's out loud. Now, you guys had a heck of a race this past weekend, 411. When the leaders all got spun, and you kept that car going backwards, talk to me about that real quick.
Well, we got in some lap traffic there, and I was busy racing with the Wilson car, the 10 car there, trying to get second place, and we could inch, get a nose ahead of him through the corners, and his momentum would bring him back down the straightaway. But we were pretty much side by side there and getting in some lap traffic, and I was hoping to get him pinned in behind a lap car, and I didn't realize that we had caught the leader, or, the leader had probably was hindered as well with lap traffic. And like I said, my focus was on the 10 car that I was racing with, and the next thing I know, everything breaks loose in front of us, and I see a car kind of launch up in the air and spin around, and I realized that that's the leader. And so we all got, everybody was kind of bouncing off each other there, kind of pinballing around, and I got turned around backwards, and the car was rolling backwards, and they're still coming at me, so I got it in reverse, and was just trying to keep it going straight down the straightaway, and hopefully they could dodge me there. I didn't know what, when you're out there racing, there's a gazillion things that go through your mind a second, and I didn't know what Neesmith's policy was on, being involved with a caution. I mean, while all this is happening, I'm thinking I got to keep the wheels rolling because, with some series, as long as you keep the wheels rolling, don't stop, you don't get penalized. And so that was a thought I had in my mind at the time. I was just trying to keep the car moving. As it turned out, the caution got charged to one of the lap cars, and everybody else was going to get their spot back.
Yeah, I was, of course, I was there filming, and it appeared that Mr. Johnny Stokes assisted the 66 around, but it was a mess when the first four cars get spun around.
It all happens pretty quick out there, and when you're in the car, your vision is limited. I mean, you're racing somebody, so you're watching. You're watching them, trying to watch into the next corner. But at that point, I was looking for a lap car, hopefully to get that guy pinned behind so I could complete the pass. And I wasn't even aware of where the leader was at, and I probably never even realized that Johnny Stokes was even in that altercation. And when you're out there racing, a lot of times those cars they don't really have names or numbers. They're just obstacles that you're trying to, you're playing chess. You're trying to jump them. You're trying to get ahead of them.
Now, you're obviously you were in one of the Turner number 10 rides this past weekend, and then we'll talk about the upcoming race there at Eldora this week, the Dream. But you usually drive the number 5, and this year you're driving the number 5, of course, in most instances, and it's the 100 years of Chevrolet. Explain to us the relationship between Ronnie Johnson and GM and Neesmith, and because you're kind of like our guy, so to speak, flying the colors on the weekly basis. Can you talk to us a little bit about that relationship?
Well, it goes back a long time. There's an old story about my meeting Mike Bond back in, and I guess it was probably 2004 or so. I didn't really, I guess I'd seen Mike at the races and seen his name on cars and didn't really know who he was, and but I knew I'd seen his name on a lot of race cars, and I was wanting to go to the Alabama State race at Phoenix City, and I had this crazy idea of trying to run 3 classes, and I was looking for somebody that might help me with some expenses, some entry fees and that. So I called Mike up out of the blue and just asked him, told him who I was. Of course, he knew me, I didn't know him, and asked him if he was interested in helping me. And he was willing to help, and he had a 604 crate engine that he offered me to run in a sportsman class at Phoenix City. And I'd heard of those engines, but I didn't know anything about them. Wasn't looking for an engine, just was looking for somebody to help with some expenses. And as it turned out, when it came down to crunch time, our sportsman engine didn't get back to us or whatever, and so I took Mike up on his offer to run his 604 crate engine. And we went down there and ran that engine against the sportsman and won the race. And so we formed a relationship there, and so, I've been a part of Mike's Crate Racing USA series since he's had that, and he's wanting to run this CT 525 engine that GM's got, on its own with its own series, and we've been running one of those engines on and off for the last couple of seasons, and have had quite a bit of success with it, and have found that it's a very reliable engine and a very economical engine. It's a pretty good program, but we've been running that thing, and like I said, at the end of the day, if you look at it on paper, when we keep up to the stats, it's pretty impressive for what you spend to race.
You guys have, I think the number is like 75, 80 races on that, maybe more on that one motor.
Well, that's what Mike says. Now, I can only speak for 48 of them.
Okay.
But a couple of other drivers at least had run that engine before I got it, and but I personally have 48 main events on the 1525 engine there, with no problems, and it absolutely is the most maintenance-free engine that I've ever had in my shop. You can't even adjust the valves on it, so that's something that you don't have to do. You don't have to worry about checking the timing every week because that's set electronically. The engine doesn't leak, it doesn't smoke. It's not a high RPM engine, it's not a high compression engine. So it, you got less compression, less RPM, so naturally it's going to last longer than an engine that's, getting the crankshaft and the rods and pistons pounded on, every split second, and, valve train, all the components are going to last longer because the RPMs are down on it. But I swear to you, we've run that thing that whole time, all in 48 races that I've run and however many races that the other guys have run it, and it's never even had a valve spring changed on it. So, like I said, it's absolutely the most maintenance-free engine that I've ever had in my shop.
Now, Jim Moon's coming up on the show after you, and he is running a 525, and he's leading the UMP late model points now for like the second or third week in a row. So it's obviously. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I read someone's post on 4M about that, and we ran that engine last year. Over a year ago, we went to a 2-day event at Clarksville Speedway in Clarksville, Tennessee, and of course they're under UMP sanction, and we went up there for that toilet bowl race that they have, and we won Friday night's preliminary deal and ran third in the toilet bowl itself, with our 525, and I catch some grief from time to time. We win some races, and a lot of the rules packages in our area allow us to run a 12-inch spoiler, and they blame it on the spoiler. The spoiler does this, the spoiler does that, and usually the guys that are complaining about it would rather spend $50,000, $40,000 I'm hearing on an engine, and then another 10 to freshen it. 12 races later, than to cut a piece of metal off and put on the back of their car. I don't understand it, but anyway, we were at that UMP deal, and they don't allow the spoiler. And we like I said, we won a Friday night deal, and we ran third in the Saturday night thing. So if Jim's racing on small tracks like Clarksville is with the UMP tire rule, I definitely could see where that engine could be competitive. And again, you've got the maintenance factor. If a guy's not having to work on his engine all the time, he's going to be able to concentrate more on his handling and keeping his tires aired up and, his car greased and all that. And, so you should wind up with a better maintained and better handling car.
And I don't mean to keep. It seems to me that since the tracks are all different and it varies from track to track, it seems to me that setup would be the one thing you'd want to concentrate more on because it's different everywhere you go nearly, where the motor and the horsepower is going to be the same everywhere you go. And that's a layman. Is that fair? Is that a fair statement?
Well, I don't know if I'm completely following your thoughts there, but
what I'm saying is your motor's going to be the same nearly everywhere you go. The 525, you're going to have the same horsepower, the same. That's not going to change because you can't do nothing to the engine. But the setup you would want to spend more time on because you'll have to change it for a long track, a short track, tight turns, big turns, a chunky track, a slick track.
I think that's more of having the knowledge and knowing how to make the changes and get what you need out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was my point there with that thing being a lower maintenance piece than an open motor is that these cars. I mean, man, it's with racing you're either all in or you're nothing. I mean, it's 24/7. You're never done with these cars. And if you're having to work on your engine, if you're having engine issues or even just all the maintenance that goes with a dry sump engine, you're not going to be able to put as much time into your chassis and handling package and your just your mental package, driving the car and paying attention to the line on the track and the and how the flagman starts the races and all the stuff that's really important. If you're constantly having extra work to do to your engine, and the 525, it's 525 horsepower. It's not 800. It's not 900. Whatever. Like I hear these guys have got with these open motors. So if you go to a racetrack and you can use 800 horsepower, you're going to suck with a 525. But at the end of the night, if you can get to that point, at the end of the night, the majority of the average weekly tracks that you run on, especially my experience in UMP land, a lot of them are quarter-mile, third-mile tracks. The soil usually gets slick. The track slows down later in the night. So at the end of the night, if the racetrack will only accept 500 horsepower, now everybody's brothers, under the hood.
Yeah.
The tough part with the 525 is being good enough at 8 o'clock to get to midnight when they run the main event. Usually you're suffering a little bit. Guys able to use a little more power than you've got at your disposal, early in the night, and you gotta really work hard and drive hard. And but that motor is really good on the smaller tracks and the tracks that have a tire rule, like a hard tire rule. And I know a lot of UMP tracks are that way, and that's where that engine can really shine. It's not. It's definitely not an engine that you're going to expect to take to the old West Virginia Motor Speedway and spank everybody with their new, latest and greatest open motors. But if you go to a smaller track, that has a high car count that's going to wear the track out, and especially if they're on a harder tire, you've got a chance, with a $7,000 engine.
Now, we're going to switch gears a little bit and get you out of here. This week coming up, you guys are heading up to Eldora. You're going to be driving the Warrior House car, the 1G. How did this come about, and how excited are you to be competing and trying to get into the dream?
Well, I've known Sanford, Goddard, and all the guys at Warrior forever, and we've run some of their cars in the past. They're only 2 hours away, and been friends forever. Before I ever started racing, I would see Herman Goddard race when I used to go with my dad to the Knoxville, Tennessee area to race. So I've known them forever, and it's been a real struggle financially lately for me to race my own stuff. We've only run like 13 races this year. That's all. And over half of those have been someone else's car. So I got a surprise back in the spring. Sanford called me up, and he doesn't, at this point right now, he doesn't have a hauler, and I can't afford the expenses to race. So he called up, and his car was ready. There was a race at Bulls Gap, and we got together. So I went up to his shop and hauled it up to the track, and we raced, and we didn't finish. We had a little complication there. We had a pretty good run going, but didn't finish. And then we did the same thing again at a Southern All-Star race. So I've driven this car a couple of times this year, and I was really surprised the other day. He told me, he called up. He said his car was ready. He was taking it to the Prelude. I think they're actually taking 2 cars to the Prelude. I hope I'm not wrong in saying that J.J. Yaley and maybe Dave Blaney's going to drive those cars in the Prelude. And when those guys get done with them, we're going to try to see if we can put one of them in the field for the Dream.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to getting the highlights from Dirt on Dirt, and I wish you guys the best of luck going up there. Get it in the show and park it in Victory Lane, and that way you can go racing some this year, the rest of the year. You get that as a big paycheck, right?
Well, you know, it's a great opportunity. I don't know how many cars they're going to have there, but you know, the way I look at it, it's we got a better chance than winning the lottery. I mean, if there's, again, I have no idea how many cars are there, but if there's 120 cars there, we got a 1 in 120 shot of winning the thing. But they only start 24. You got to be realistic, and I'm looking forward to going. Honestly, never thought I'd ever be at Eldora again. I never thought I'd have the opportunity to go. Wish that we had been racing a little bit more this year. The more you race, the more you are on your game, and we haven't got to race a lot this year, but I am looking forward to it. I appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to go up there and give it our best shot and see what happens.
All right, Mr. Johnson, before I let you go, thank some of the guys that are helping you out crew-wise, and also thank some of the sponsors.
Well, right now, like I said, I've been I haven't been able to race my car a lot this year, so I'm dependent pretty much on volunteer helpers. So I'm not going to name any names. I'd leave somebody out, and somebody's feelings would be hurt. But I do appreciate all the people that come over and help during the week or help out at the racetrack. You know, everybody wants to be a part of it, and it's a lot of work. And the only thing that makes it worthwhile is that occasional picture, you know, that you get in Victory Lane and the trophy that you bring home. Because we're certainly not making any money doing it. And but sponsor-wise, we always run Hoosier tires, and you know, and then you know the folks at Neesmith and GM Performance have been good to us. We've been running that 525, and you know they have a great product in that 604 crate engine that you know that the Neesmith crate series is centered around. And I guess those would be the main ones. You know, we mentioned Warrior race cars, but I also run Masters builds, and we've driven a couple other cars this year. So we wouldn't have enough time on the show to make the list to thank everybody that deserves it. But it takes a lot to do this. I mean, anybody in any level, any class that races these cars knows that it takes a little bit from a lot of people to make us be able to follow our passion, and I appreciate all of those people and the fans for coming out and supporting us.
This is Mr. Ronnie Johnson, Dirt Track Hall of Famer. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Ronnie.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Good luck at the Dream.
All right, thank you.
That's pretty cool. I really enjoyed talking to Mr. Ronnie Johnson. Let's go ahead and move on to the current UMP points leader, Mr. Jim Moon. Jim, shaking, brother.
What's up? What a class act. What a class act Ronnie is. He took the time last year to help me fix my 525 problem, and he's got a hand in my success, and he doesn't even realize it. You know, what a class act.
He's just, and I don't know, people who maybe see him at the racetrack and whatnot, he's real quiet, he's real reserved, and you could confuse that for, well, he don't want to talk to you. That's not true, though. Ronnie is one of the most talkative guys. You get him away from the racetrack, and it's great. And he's got stories to tell. Man, I love listening to that gentleman. But we're talking about Jim Moon. We're talking about Jim Moon, who's still the points leader in the UMP late model. And you're still a guest. I said as long as you're the point leader, you're the guest.
I know. We're going to get one more week. You schedule me in next week.
Uh-oh. Where you guys going this?
I don't know where I'm going this next week, but I'll be the points leader again next week.
Oh, because there's not a race.
No. We race. The points come out on Thursday, so really we're like a week behind. This interview was last Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
So stay on top of it.
So what he's saying is that he's still going to be the points leader.
Yeah, I will still be the points leader. And I think I stretched it out a little bit. I know last week it was only 10, and then I was getting grief on, what's that Facebook page, 4M or something? I was getting grief on there, and then I stretched it out. Yeah, then I got stretched out to 50. Well, then, I don't know, there was more grief. So what are they going to say this week when I stretched out? And the one night that I went out of my way to go race him head-to-head, I beat him that night, too.
Ooh. You know, how did the Ask the Moon Man go? You guys went back to that little thing.
I'm filming it tonight when I get done with this shindig.
Can you at least say hello to us on the next one?
Send me an email. I will. I'm just so busy I can't keep track of everything.
Now, did you get the chance to listen to Ronnie's talking about going up to the Clarksville and winning a race there with his 525 and then finishing third?
Yep.
Do you catch any grief with your motor and do you get the wing brake?
Yeah, I get the weight brake. Well, the latest funny thing that I heard is I have a supercharger. It's not really a legal 525. It has a supercharger. That is one rumor I heard this weekend. Actually had a tech official come over and look to see if I had a supercharger on my motor. And then with 7 pounds of boost is what I was told. And then I also heard another good one that I had an $8,000 engine rebuild bill. Does anybody not listen to the show?
Yeah.
If I had an 8,000, okay, look, I'm a poor guy. Why would I spend $8,000 on getting an engine rebuild when I can buy a new one for $7,300?
I mean that's the $1 million question, really.
Because you want that. What is it? The 415 LS version.
Do they make a 415?
I think you can go to a 7.0 from the factory, and I've heard of guys.
But that's a 454 though.
That's a 427.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, and then I've heard guys that are stretching them out as far as cubic inch wise to about 470.
Well, I don't know. But I personally, if I'm gonna go that route, I'm gonna lobby for the supercharger.
These are drag racers, though. I don't know any circle track guys doing this. I kind of run in a circle of these LS enthusiasts, so you can do some stuff.
Does any of them have a spare supercharger? I will put one on one weekend and try running it.
Dude, we could probably get somebody. I might be able to help you out with that.
Dude, that would be nuts. What would they? I would go to Moeller with it because Moeller. I could probably run at Moeller with it over there in the Outlaw division or the super late model division. I'd probably give Stapleton a run for his money.
Now, we talked last week about this. What's the Hell Tour going to do to your points lead?
I don't know what it's going to do because I'm going to stay at home and win races. See, look, if Fager and Babb and Unzinger and all them guys, if they go out there and beat each other up every night, they're going to gain a little point. They're going to gain some points on me. But if they're beating each other up every night, I mean, what I'm doing, I'm running around getting top fives every night. And if they're busy beating each other up, only one of them can win.
That's right.
It may not do them any good.
It sounds like you might be the only guy in the points race.
No, there's. I think there's. I haven't looked, but I think there's like 1,400 other ones. I think 1,400 guys signed up in UMP.
So you have to sign up. That they don't just automatically take your points down.
What do you mean?
Like if you're running at UMP tracks, do you actually have to go to UMP and register and do all that stuff? They don't do that for you, right?
They do not. This is how that works. You do not have to be a UMP member. I guess theoretically, it's possible for you to win the UMP Points Championship and not be a UMP member. Just when you show up at the UMP banquet, I don't think you'll get a UMP check.
Aha.
So
okay.
I mean, if you just like racing, you don't have. It's only $100. If you're going to get $20,000, I think I'd spend $100. But
is that what it pays to win it?
No, it's either 20 or 25. Yeah, it's a nice little change.
Wow.
Nice little chunk of change.
That's a pretty good little piece of money for the end of the year points. I don't know. I've never tried to run for points before.
Well, in UMP, to finish 50th, I think it's
$300 or something on your $100 investment. And that's what they pay out to top 50.
I don't know if there's enough UMP late mile tracks that's close to me though.
You just need one. You just need them raced 35 times.
Florence doesn't pay UMP points, do they?
Well,
I don't. I'm just wondering.
No, UMP does not, or Florence does not pay UMP points.
And I know that Moeller doesn't. So.
No, but see, if you guys got together, I mean, you guys could get them to start paying UMP points.
I think some people don't like Sam Driggers.
Well,
I don't know why. I get that feeling.
I didn't know it was the Sam Driggers organization. I thought it was called UMP.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
Well,
rumors.
I don't know.
Hey, well, Jim, I want to congratulate you that you're still up top of the points with that 525 motor without a supercharger.
Without a supercharger, yes.
At least right now.
Before we let you go, I want you to do three things. I want you to thank your sponsors, thank some of your crew, and also maybe call out some people on 4M if you have to.
You know, who do you want me to call out on 4M? I mean, there's all kinds of people call out on 4M.
Well,
hey, do you read 4M? I mean, I'm assuming you kind of do. Most people, I guess, kind of read the crap on there.
I kind of glance over it, and if something strikes me as important enough to read, I'll read it. It's like any of the forums. I mean, just because you got a voice or a place to have your voice doesn't mean that I have to hear it, listen to it, or read it.
Yeah, I will call out people on 4M next week because I'm sure there'll be some more good crap on there, and I'll have all my ducks in a row on that deal as to who I need to call out because we'll get to have another interview next Monday, of course. And that's the highlight of my Monday is being on this show.
I'm sure it is. Well, I appreciate that. Well, thanks to your sponsors and thanks to your crew. I'm down here. I'm at the beach, and I'm fixing to go to dinner at 7. So we need you to hurry up, Mr. Moon.
Well, I'll hurry up then. I guess if it's that way. Let's start with the crew people. Since they all quit today, now I guess I'm gonna be solo. My crew quit. So if you need a job, doesn't really pay much, call me up 317-777-2222. Don't call while I'm on the phone for this interview because it won't work. Looking for crew people, Central Illinois. Getting ready to run the Summer Nationals. It'll be fun. To make a little pocket change. Sponsors, Jungle Gyms, Aggressive Graphics, just everybody that helps me out. Rick's Towing down in Mount Vernon, Illinois. If you ever broke down, Mount Vernon, Illinois, call Rick's. He'll get you home. Just want to say thanks to everybody.
Well, Mr. Moon, of course, we'll have you on again next week, but I extend my promise to you, as long as you are leading the UMP points, you will be a guest every week on In the Dirt.
Yeah, and the freaking rocks. No other place I'd rather be on Monday than In the Dirt.
That's what I'm talking about. We need to go ahead and make this guy do some commercials for us.
Sure.
Well, all right, Jim.
We can do some recordings. Got Skype. Right. He's got Skype. We'll Skype him in.
Yeah, we can Skype him in. And don't forget the Reverend.
The Reverend.
Send everybody.
Yeah, the Reverend Jim Moon. Well, Jim, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep. You guys have a good weekend.
All right. Jim's a wild man, isn't he? Well, on the telephone now. Let's bring him on. Let's see here. I'd like to welcome to the program Mr. Kyle Bridges. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
We're making it. Sorry you had to hold so long. Did you get to listen to Jim Moon?
Oh, yeah. He's a nut.
He is. Listen, I don't know why he gets such a bad rap on 4M or any place, because I think the guy's quite cordial and witty.
Probably, but you know how that works, Webb. Anytime you say anything in a public venue, somebody's got to have an opinion.
Yeah, it's like everybody's got a sword, and they're going to chop your head off. Well, Kyle Bridges is a late model pilot from Moultrie, Georgia. He runs in crate divisions and the steel block divisions. Mr. Bridges, talk to us a little bit about your racing program and your career, and how's it been going the last couple of years?
It's been going pretty good. We've basically focused on steel late model motor racing. It's called the National Late Model Sportsman Series around here. We run that for 2 years. We finished second 1 year at the Tyler Ivy, and then the year before that we finished 8th. It was my first full year running dirt stuff. So far it's been pretty good. We've got a couple wins under our belt, and just had one here past week so for the Neesmith weekly deal, and that's what we're doing now, getting the cars ready to go back for try to defend that honor again this weekend.
We got to run into, and actually one of our listeners had actually told me to run into you down there in Albany. You guys had a little bit of motor trouble, but you weren't really concerned about that then. You had a big event on the horizon. What has recently taken place in your life outside of racing?
I recently got married. It's done good so far. We've had pretty good luck since we've been back, and she's a good girl. It took a long time to find the right one, but so far it's been nothing but joy and smiles around here.
Now, Brian, let me just tell you, when I got to meet Kyle at Albany Motor Speedway, and when we were down there in the pits at the end of the evening, and I was trying to tell Kyle, hey, we're going to get you on the program, yada, yada, and I said, we'll have to have your fiance on or your wife then or whatever the case may be, and she was too busy to come talk to me then because she was loading the car.
Oh, he had her doing the work. That's the way to do it.
No, she volunteers. She's telling me she's going to drive it one day, but I ain't really ready for that part yet.
Well, that's the best. I mean, that's the best way to, convince them is make them think that they're the ones that, doing it on their own.
That's right.
That's a pimp.
Well,
I ain't gonna go that far with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Brian goes that far, but we don't have to. No, she's a real nice girl. Got to speak with her. She likes to be involved, and that's pretty good. Kyle and Brian both. You probably know several people who can't get their women to the racetrack.
Yeah, I know some friends that's lost a lot of them over it.
Yeah, racing is first, and if you can be happy with running a close second, is that how it goes?
Not around here, but yeah, not around here. We try to do mutual things. Saturday's my day to go play, and then Sunday we do what she wants to do. Just try to keep a compromise and keep everybody happy.
Now, you guys your program is really you self-fund your racing. I think when we spoke, you guys don't have a lot of sponsors and whatnot.
No, sir, we don't have any major sponsors. I mean, I have people that help me just like anybody else that does, but it's nothing that's financially going to take me through the whole year and let me do what I want to do. It comes from my daddy's auto service. We do, salvage stuff with cars and scrap metal and stuff like that, and if at the end of the week there ain't enough to go racing, we're going to sit here and we're going to put business and family first, and that's the way it's going to be until somebody comes along with enough pocketbook to tote me. But we got nice stuff. I mean, I'm not lacking for equipment because of it. I mean, we have to spend it wisely and we have to race wisely to make the most out of it.
That's right. And you guys drive a very right race car, and you have somewhat of a connection to the Clint Boyer stable. Can you tell us a little bit about that relationship you have with the guys that drive for Clint Boyer?
Yes, sir. I actually met Jonathan through a family friend. His daughter started dating him when they moved to South Carolina, and he helped me a lot get going in the Barry Wright stuff. He came down and helped me with setups and actually drove the car to try to find out what was wrong with it. We bought it used, and we were struggling. And then a friend of mine, Casey Calloway, went to work for him, and it's just been a good thing. Jared, I've met him. They're all very great people up there. They're more than willing to help somebody that's not competitive with them. And Casey, I call him. We probably talk 3 or 4 times a week, just trying to keep up to date if I have questions about something. And especially since they got on the Barry Wright program, I can call up there and bounce ideas off of Casey, or Casey can call down here. And if I'm doing something different, I tell them. And I don't know if mine helps them as much as theirs helps me, but Casey's been more than aptitude to help me. When I got to struggling there, we've been trying things, and he led me back in the right direction, and we got to rolling pretty good there, and we finally got everything to come together last week with what we've been trying to do, and so far, everything that they've told me has really helped, and I appreciate every bit of it. And if I call them on the road, Casey will answer, and if he needs to ask Jared or such not, they'll answer the question honestly. And it's just been I go to races and help them when I can, just to be polite about it. I've helped Jared to East Alabama last year. It's fun for me to go help them because I don't have to do it every day like they do, but it's more than fun.
Hey, Brian. Kyle actually heard about our show from Jared. Because Jared was on with. And I asked him. He said when I was talking to Kyle at the racetrack there in Albany, he said, actually, Jared was telling us that he was on with you guys or whatever, and I go, oh, great. Did he call us idiots?
No, he's not that kind of person. He's a very down to earth guy.
No, he's
very laid back. I'll tell you that. Let's put it.
Yeah, he don't get riled up that much.
He's a really, really cool guy. Well, all right, Kyle. Thank you for joining us on In the Dirt. And before I let you go, I would like for you to thank the people that do help you out, either by crew or by putting money in the program. And then after that, tell us where you guys are going to be at.
All right. First off, I got to thank the good Lord. Would none of this be possible without His blessings? Got to thank my mom, Dad. They are more than supportive of what I do. I'm sure they've missed out on doing stuff in their life to keep me racing. Me and my sister race, so that's double the pocket. Got to thank my wife, her family. They've helped out, and just Merritt Construction, Outlaw Race Parts, Wildcat Racing Engines, Taggart Aviation. Everybody just came over and lent a hand. They're out there washing tires while I'm in here doing this interview, trying to get ready to go. And Mark Mancinelli, he helps me with all my crate stuff. Just anybody and everybody that's helped me get this here. There's a long list. People come and go and through the shop, and everybody's turned the wrenches help somehow. They just you never get to thank them properly until the sun shines, on you. But there's a lot of them, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But there's been a lot of great people come through my life with the racing.
Well, all right. Well, will we get a chance to see you again when Neesmith comes to town down there in Albany, Georgia? There at the
most definitely. Most definitely got to redeem myself on the Neesmith tour. that first one was a rough weekend there for me. We had motor trouble, but we're gonna go to Phoenix City, I hope for sure, and Albany again. Might try to get to Penton if things work out. But we're gonna go to Albany this weekend and try to get ready to run some more of these weekly shows and hopefully figure out how to get Rambo's 14.2 dialed in here.
Well, all right, Kyle. It's a pleasure to know you now, and thank you for coming on our show. And we'll see you guys down in Albany and East Alabama. And tell the missus hello for me.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all having me, and I'll tell her.
All right, brother. We'll see you, Mr. Kyle Bridge.
Thank you.
Pretty good dude right there, Brian. Like him.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to move right on. We got our last and final guest of the evening on the telephone, Mr. Tyler Ivey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great this evening. How are you guys?
Wow, couldn't be better. Sorry for your wait time. We got a little long with Mr. Ronnie Johnson. So Tyler, you race right alongside Kyle Bridges most of the time, don't you?
Yes, sir. The past couple of years, me and Kyle have had some, good races, side-by-side battles before. Pretty much, not this year as much, but in prior years, everywhere that I would go, he would be there, and everywhere he'd go, I'd show up.
Well, for those listeners out there that may not know of you, give us a little bit of a background about your racing, where it started, where it is now, and where you hope to take it.
Pretty much, I started as soon as I could walk, got in a go-kart and started racing, and racing's always been a part of my family. Got in a full-size car when I was 13 on dirt. Raced a modified for a couple of years and got in a late model when I was 16, and I've been doing that ever since.
Now, down that way, you have Ivident Lloyd and those guys. Who are the guys you look up to down there? Is Ivident one of them?
Ivident definitely is. he's helped me throughout my career. He always will, if you have any kind of question, you can ask him. He'll tell you pretty much straight up. But, I get to travel around a little bit and go to some of the bigger races and, race with the World Outlaw guys, the Lucas guys, and that's always cool. And I look up to all of them because I know it's a lot of work. And just the talent that those guys have it's pretty cool.
Now, the National Late Model, what is the National Steelhead? What was the name of the organization?
National Late Model Series.
Okay, I went to their website and I tried to see if there's any points or and it didn't give me anything. So where's your program at running in points this year with the series?
Well, I'm not really following the series this year. I just had a bunch of work this year. Haven't really got time to get out and go racing, but I've run a few races with them. I think I run 5th in Waycross last month with them. It's just they really don't have a big schedule out, but everybody around here follows their rules, so that's pretty much what they call the late model division down here.
Gotcha. Now, Waycross, you like it better when it was the peanut oil surface or the new clay?
Well, I run good. I won races whenever it was a blacktop and whenever they switched to clay. It's pretty much the same. It's wide open. So I really didn't have a preference.
All right. Well, this is the dream week here in the late model. The sport of late model racing is the $100,000 win dream. You are in the race and you're coming off turn 4, running second, and Kyle Bridges is in front of you, and he comes down just a little bit. Do you go ahead and yoke him and get that $100,000, or do you live for your buddy Kyle?
I'm probably going to rub on him a little bit, but I'll let him take home the win because I know we'll both celebrate afterwards.
No. Listen, he said he's going to rub him a little bit.
He's just going to rub him a little bit. That would take some real restraint, though, just to rub him a little bit and let him take home the win.
Yeah, well, I mean,
if you're going to rub him a little bit, you got to rub him enough to get him just enough to slow down.
Yeah, we might do something. I might run him into the wall after the checkered flag or something. He probably wouldn't even care about it.
He's going to run him into the wall.
We asked, Tyler, I'll drop that question on drivers every once in a while. We asked a guy one time, I think it was Blanchett. I said, you got your girlfriend on the outside of you running for the win, and you got your mom as the slow car. What do you do? And he said, lift. I'd have to hear it from both of them.
Well, I know my girlfriend, if she was racing beside me, she wouldn't lift, and I'd probably just push all 3 of them across the line.
That's right.
Both of them across the line.
Okay, here's the truth of it, Webb. Now, you said your sister's racing with you too, right?
No, that was Kyle.
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah, Kyle.
We should have asked Kyle that question. Okay, what do you think? Would Kyle wreck his sister to win?
That could be a possibility.
Wait! You sound like you might have some dirt on the sibling rivalry.
Oh no, his sister, she runs her little hobby stock or mini stock, and she does good, and she supports Kyle, and Kyle helps her out too. So. But
he still might wreck her.
Yeah, I think he might. He probably wouldn't hear the end of it if she outrun him.
Well, all right, Tyler. Before we get off here with you, I want you to thank some of your sponsors, thank all the guys that help you, and also let the listeners know where you're going to be racing at over the next few weeks.
Well, my sponsors have Crowder Trucking, Allen's Trailer Service, Corey Racing Engines, Wolfpack Racing, and my crew chief is Stacy Lee. He works on the car throughout the week and gets it ready to race. Wayne Metz, he comes with me to the track whenever he can, and he gets down and dirty and sweats and does all the jobs that nobody else wants to do. Tatum's been with me ever since I got in the late model, and couldn't ask for a better crew hand. My girlfriend's there with me every weekend. She always makes sure she takes a picture of the lineup and brings it down to me so I know where I'm supposed to be at all times.
They raise some racing girls down there in South Georgia and North Florida, don't they, Brian?
I think so. Don't they?
That's pretty. Yeah, they must, because he's got. I mean, my wife comes to the races on occasion, but I mean, these guys have got girls loading trailers and getting points. Well, Tyler, appreciate you coming on the show with us. We're going to keep tabs on you. You guys park it into Victory Lane. After tonight, we'll have you back on again. We'll talk about a big win, or if you have anything significant happen, give me a call and we'll have you back on, brother.
All right, I appreciate it.
Mr. Tyler Ivey, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Brian, we have come to the end.
I know. I'm sitting here at the end of this. I couldn't help it, but there is this thing on Facebook. It's called Dirt Track Meme. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I have seen that.
There's somebody who got one on here. It's awesome. I gotta go back here and find it, and I'm gonna read it because it's definitely related to an In the Dirt segment.
Oh no!
And it's got a picture of this cat with like these round glasses on it, and he's sitting in front of like these beakers, and he's in a science lab, you can tell. And it's titled Scott Autry had correct tires after AR chemically altered the base sample.
Oh, it's always got to be about the tires.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, tires never get tired.
Oh no, them tires.
Tires.
Yeah.
Well, before we get out of here, I got to thank all of our guests for coming on. I'd like to thank Dirt Late Model Legend, Hall of Famer, my hero. I don't care. I got a man crush. I got a bromance. I'm not worried about it. I'm comfortable. Ronnie Johnson was on the program. Woo-hoo. Had Jim Moon. He's leading the points in UMP without a supercharger on that 525 motor.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy of mine down in Moultrie, Kyle Bridges, good dude. Really like that guy. Great guy. Mr. Tyler Ivey. I mean, we had a good show tonight. And I'm at the beach.
You're at the beach?
Yeah, I'm at the beach, baby. I'm fixing to go eat seafood.
I'm fixing to go back out in the garage.
You were invited, though. I may not have called and told you, but you were invited.
Okay. Well, I know that anywhere you go, I'll just show up out of the blue, and you can just say I'm invited regardless.
Yeah, I mean, you open invitation, Brian Gray.
Awesome.
Anytime you want to come to Alabama?
Open invitation for you to come up to the Dream this weekend, Webb.
Man, I'm coming next year, I know for sure.
We'll see if I can get us some interviews while I'm up there.
I will be dispatching Mr. Brian Gray to report from Eldora Speedway this weekend. Does that sound official enough?
Official. It's official.
Why,
I'm gonna take my microphone and little recorder up there, and we're just gonna mosey on down in the pits and get that Danica Patrick interview.
Try this. Hey, baby.
Isn't that's what everybody wants, isn't it?
Hey, baby. Nah. If you get me a door off her car.
I don't know. They might not let go of that. But you know what? There might be a piece of it fly up into the stands too. That's going to be interesting. For the prelude, I said Donnie Schatz is going to be unbeatable. I called that one ahead of time, but after seeing this video from Lawrenceburg, I don't know.
Let's do this real quick. For the prelude, I'm gonna go with heck, I really don't even know who's in it, really.
Well,
I know that the sprint car drivers are in it, Schatz and his name escapes me now, but I can see him. He's a hefty guy.
Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz.
I can remember his name.
Let's see, Jimmy Johnson is in it, and Justin Allgaier, he's going to be there.
No Rouse drivers are in it.
None.
Is JG going to be in it, Jeff Gordon?
I don't know. I'm getting there. Here we go. Look at this. Here, I found it. Okay, let's see. Here's who we got for the prelude. Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Clint Boyer, Danica Patrick, Justin Allgaier, Eric Almirola, Dave Blaney, Kurt Busch, Ron Capps, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Bill Elliott, Ray Everham, David Gilligan, Casey Kane, Tony Kanaan, and I hit the daggone button. Oh, and Bobby Labonte, Jason Leffler, Cruz Pedregon, Kenny Schrader, Kenny Wallace, and J.J. Yaley. And if J.J. Yaley wasn't in a Warrior House car, I would pick him.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Rowdy Busch.
That was kind of a bad deal, wasn't it?
Well, since we had we had the guy going to drive the Warrior House car in the Dream.
Here's what I'd say. J.J. Yaley in a Barry Wright undoubtedly wins the race. But he's going to be in the Warrior car, so maybe he'll help them out, get them something figured out for the weekend.
Kyle's going to probably be the Busch is going to be in the Bloomer Batmobile, right?
Yeah, Kyle Busch is going to be in Bloomer's car.
Rowdy's my pick for the Prelude, and my pick for the Dream. My heart says Ronnie Johnson, because I heart you, Ronnie Johnson. And my head says Don O'Neill. I got myself killed last week because I said I'm taking Darrell Lanigan at the Ralph Latham, and Don O'Neill won it. Don O'Neill did win the World 100, but dude, I'm going with Lanigan again. I'm going to go out and say, yeah, Lanigan wins the Dream. Well, there you have it, folks.
And I'm going to say that it's going to be close, and Don O'Neill's going to be there, but I'm going to go Lanigan all the way, and I'm going to go with Eddie Carrier Jr. as second.
Don O'Neill first, Jimmy Owen second.
There it is.
All right. There it is. We've put ourselves out there. We sounded just like Michael Rigsby, Tom Turner, and Josh Joyner, except we did it all out loud, not written.
Right, out loud.
Anyway.
Well, have a good time down there, Webb. Don't drink too many of those Gulf Shores beers.
I'm gonna stay to the Coca-Colas this evening.
Okay.
I gotta pace myself. I got 4 or 5 days down here, so you can't wear yourself out the first night.
Nope.
Or second.
But you can try.
You can try. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the dirt. You listened to some mindless babble for the last 10 minutes. We appreciate it. This is Webb Dillard for Brian Gray and the no-show Kyle May. This is In the Dirt. See you next week.